The Medina Charter. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. This is a document from Muhammad the Prophet, governing the relations between the believers and Muslims of Quraysh and Yathrib, and those who followed them and joined them and labored with them. They are one community to the exclusion of all men. The Quraysh emigrants, according to their present custom, shall pay the blood money within their number and shall redeem their prisoners with the kindness and justice common among believers. The Beni Auf, according to their present custom, shall pay the blood money they pay in heathenism. Every section shall redeem its prisoners with the kindness and justice common among believers. The Beni Cited, the Beni Al-Haraf, the Beni Al-Harith, and the Beni Jusham, and the Beni Al-Najjar likewise. The Beni Amar, the Beni Alaf, the Beni Auf, the Beni Al-Nabeet, and the Beni Al-Aws likewise. Believers shall not leave anyone destitute among them by not paying his redemption money or blood money in kindness. A believer shall not take as an ally the freedman of another Muslim against him. The God-fearing believers shall be against the rebellious, or him who seeks to spread injustice, or sin, or animosity, or corruption between believers. The hand of every man shall be against him, even if he be a son of one of them. A believer shall not slay a believer for the sake of an unbeliever, nor shall he aid an unbeliever against a believer. God's protection is one. The least of them may be protection to a stranger on their behalf. Believers are friends one to the other, to the exclusion of outsiders. To the Jew who follows us belong help and equality. He shall not be wronged, nor shall his enemies be aided. The peace of the believers is indivisible. No separate peace shall be made when believers are fighting in the way of God. Conditions must be fair and equitable to all. In every foray, a rider must take another behind him. The believer must avenge the blood of one another shed in the way of God. The God-fearing believers enjoy the best and most upright guidance. No polytheist shall take the property of a person of Quraysh under his protection, nor shall he intervene against a believer. Whoever is convicted of killing a believer without good reason shall be subject to retaliation unless the next of kin is satisfied with blood money, and the believers shall be against him as one man, and they are bound to take action against him. It shall be lawful to a believer who holds by what is in this document and believes in God and the last day to help an evildoer, or to shelter him. The curse of God and his anger on the day of resurrection will be upon him if he does, and neither repentance nor ransom will be received from him. Whenever you defer about a matter, it must be referred to God and to Muhammad. The Jews shall contribute to the costs of war so long as they are fighting alongside the believers. The Jews of Bani Auf are one community with the believers. The Jews have their religion and the Muslims have theirs, their freedmen and their persons, except those who behave unjustly and sinfully, for they hurt but themselves and their families. The same applies to the Jews of Beni Al-Najjar, Beni Al-Haraf, Beni Cited, Beni Jusham, Beni Al-Asu, Beni Thalaba, the Japhna, a clan of the Thalaba, and the Beni Al-Shutalaba. Loyalty is a protection against treachery. The freedmen of Thalaba are as themselves. The close friends of Jews are as themselves. None of them shall go out to war save the permission of Muhammad, but he shall not be prevented from taking revenge for a wound. He who slays a man without warning slays himself and his household, unless it is one who has wronged him, for God will accept that. The Jews must bear their expenses and the Muslims their expenses. Each must help the other against anyone who attacks the people of this document. They must seek mutual advice and consolation. And loyalty is a protection against treachery. A man is not liable for his allies' misdeeds, The wronged must be helped. The Jews must pay with the believers so long as war lasts. Yathrib shall be a sanctuary for the people of this document. A stranger under protection shall be as his host, doing no harm and committing no crime. A woman shall only be given protection with the consent of her family. If any dispute or controversy likely to cause trouble should arise, it must be referred to God and to Muhammad, the apostle of God. God accepts what's nearest to piety and goodness in this document. Quraysh and their helpers shall not be given protection. The contracting parties are bound to help one another against any attack on Yathrib. If they are called to make peace and maintain it, they must do so, and if they make a similar demand on the Muslims, it must be carried out, except in the case of a holy war. Everyone shall have his portion from the side of which he belongs. The Jews of Al-Aws, their freedom and themselves, have the same standing with the people of this document, in purely loyalty from the people of this document. Loyalty is a protection against treachery. He who acquires it for himself. God approves of this document. This deed will not protect the unjust and the sinner. The man who goes forth to fight and the man who stays at home in the city is safe unless he has been unjust in sin. God is the protector of the good and the God-fearing man, and Muhammad is the apostle of God.